Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be making fajitas and I'm going to be making homemade tortilla shells using this instant corn mesa flour, and it is also gluten-free. Okay, so I'm going to start with cutting up the onions for the fajitas. So I'm using a white onion, but you could use different types of onions, whatever you prefer. You can use yellow or red or whatever. I like the white onions. So I'm gonna cut them in like longer, I'm not gonna dice them, I'm gonna make them kind of bigger pieces for the fajitas. And I cut them like that. I'm just gonna get all the vegetables ready, put them in a bowl. Okay, and then I'm going to add, I have orange and red peppers, and I'm gonna cut those up. For the fajitas. I mean, you could use any color. They have yellow and green also. I just like the flavor of these peppers. So then I cut them like this in long strips. When you're cooking these fajitas, you can either use a wok, which works really nice and it cooks the vegetables quickly, or you could just use a frying pan, which that's what I'm going to be using. And you might hear my bird in the background. He likes to make noise when I'm in here cooking. It's a good birdie. Okay, so now I am going to cut the chicken for the fajitas, and I actually thaw it out in like cold water, and then I don't thaw it completely through because it's easier when you cut this when it's frozen, a little bit frozen, not completely frozen, but frozen, a little bit frozen. And then I'm gonna cut against the grain and just cut it into strips for the fajitas. I just got this cutting board, which you'll see it's made out of stainless steel, because I was reading somewhere, or I seen something about I was using a plastic cutting board, and that's not good because when you cut, the plastic fibers, you know, could go into the food. So I got this stainless steel. It does scratch, but you know, it's supposed to be better for you. Okay, so here I have all the chicken cut up, and I'm gonna cook the chicken in a frying pan with some olive oil. And I just kind of like eyeball it, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Depends on how much chicken you have, maybe a little more. And then heat that up. Get that hot. And I have my little helper here. Yes. Are you waiting for some droppings? I don't know if you can see my camera. Come here. Here's my little helper. Clark, my little helper. Yeah. You like to pick up all the droppings and clean up the floor. Yeah. You're a good boy. I know. Okay, so once it's warm enough, I'm gonna add the chicken. You can kind of hear it sizzling. Okay, so the pan was hot enough and I added the chicken. And just kind of like stir it around. So the spice I'm using for the fajitas is a taco seasoning, and it's gluten-free. And this version, Spice Islands, I got this from Costco. And I'm gonna add some, I just eyeball it, you know, whatever, because some people like more spices than others. And I'm gonna just add it to the chicken while it's cooking. Okay, when the chicken is finished cooking, I take it out of the pan and I put it on a plate. I put it to the side, and then we're gonna cook the peppers and the onions. And I add some more oil. You could just use the same pan And you can hear my African gray parrot Cookie saying touchdown because he loves football. Right, Cookie? Well, I love you too. Okay, we're gonna cook these. Might need to add a little bit more oil. So here are the peppers and the onions cooking. And you just cook them till they're, till they're tender. And you may, like them more al dente, a little bit harder. It depends on what your liking is, or if you like them more mushy, you can cook them like that too. So let that go for a while. I love you. Okay, so it looks like the peppers and the onions are, the way I want them cooked. So I'm gonna add the chicken right to the peppers and the onions. Just stir it around. And now I'm going to be making the tortilla shells. So I'm just looking at the back of the package in the recipe. It says use 2 cups of the flour. So I have that in here. And then if you want, it's optional, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I added in there. And then it says it takes 1 cup of warm water, pour it in, and we mix it around. And then it says if it gets too dry, if it's still too dry, to add more water. Well, we'll see what's going on here. Check with your hands if it's going to be too dry, because you're going to be making dough balls with this. So 12 balls, it says, for this amount of stuff. It says you can add water at this point if you feel like it's too dry. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon at a time. Just check, and it doesn't seem too bad. Okay, so I keep just breaking them in half. So there really is a technique to doing these, and that's why a lot of people just go buy the tortillas, but it's really hard to find gluten-free tortillas. I mean, there are some, but they don't taste as good as homemade. So what I noticed just doing this is you really need a lot of water. They can't be dry when you're rolling them out. So you form those together and put them in a pan, and then it says once you did that, to put a damp towel over them so they don't dry out. Okay, now we are going to roll out the tortillas. So it says that if you don't have a tortilla press, which we don't, just to take plastic and take 1 piece of plastic, put it down, and then put a piece of plastic over it. And then take a rolling pin and roll them out to the thickness that you need. I think this would be better with a tortilla press. I'm gonna just heat this up. It says medium heat. And it doesn't say anything about putting any oil or anything in it. So we're gonna just try this, see what happens. So to get it off the plastic wrap, I just took the top piece of plastic off and I put it in my hand, and then here it is. So I'm gonna just put this in. This is pretty small. We'll make a bigger one next time. Okay, we just put it in there. You said you're supposed to wait till it starts bubbling, and then you flip it over and do the other side. I think the total time should be about 2 minutes to do, but okay, I don't see it bubbling yet. My little helper wants a piece of chicken. Just a little won't hurt, right? Okay, come here. All right, spin. Good boy. Okay, so I flipped it over and I'm just gonna let that cook for just a little bit on that side. But it looks like a good color. Okay, so when your tortilla's done, they did say to put it in between 2 damp towels. So I just took paper towel and damped them so they don't get dried out. So we'll put that there. And then we'll start on our next one. Okay, now with all the tortillas cooked, I'm gonna assemble my fajita. So I'm just gonna take some of the meat and the peppers, put those in. The shell, I think the shells turned out pretty good. Not having a press, it was fine. But I would still, if I was gonna do this again, which I plan on it, I'm gonna buy our tortilla press. Put those on. You can put different toppings on this, like avocado or pico de gallo. And I'm putting cheddar cheese and a little bit of lime on that. Or sour cream maybe even. These turned out actually very nice. Okay, let me try. Very good, very, very good. I don't think I'm gonna ever want a store-bought tortilla ever again. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.